Hi everyone, Anna is here and welcome to a money date. I wanted to hop on and chat with you today about why I see so many people are struggling not only to face the actual retirement, right? Because it seems like this for a lot of people out there is this big unattainable goal, but also I see that there's a common trend in these two mistakes that I want to discuss with you today that I see people make. So stay tuned. Hopefully you're going to learn something so you can share with the rest. The other update I have for you is that I'm hosting a webinar on the 31st of May that's going to dive into a lot more details about 5 common retirement mistakes I see folks make. So tune in for that. I'll share a link in the comments at the bottom of this video. So I hope you're doing well. It's been a few weeks since we chatted, but it doesn't mean that your own money dates should haven't stopped. You know the behind story of why we're getting here together. And the primary reason is that we need to stay on the top of our finances, right? The 3 things that I normally want you to track are, and that's something you're going to see also not only carries throughout your adult life, but into the retirement years as well. So if you have parents, if you have friends who are heading into the retirement phase, maybe your grandparents, let them know, right? Help them figure these things out. But the 3 basic things that everybody needs to have a good handle on are, number 1, how much money are they spending? Number 2, where's the income coming from, right? Because it changes as you stop working, right, in your primary, whether it's your career or your business. And then number 3, right? Number 3 is, what kind of goals are you tracking? And are you staying on track with those goals? So give yourself an opportunity to review, okay? Now, to give you sort of a starting ground here, these mistakes that I've observed working with clients over the last decade are kind of seen, here and there. But as you dive deeper and start thinking about, okay, well, retirement is a very general word that means different things to different people. And the older the generation is, right? So for example, for your grandparents, and maybe for some of your parents who are older, right? Retirement means officially stop working, right? But for the younger generation, retirement phase, right, or becoming financially independent doesn't necessarily mean you have to wait until you're a certain age and you have no income coming in. So what I want to point out to you today, the mistake number 1 is that there is no particular plan as to how, right, this phase, the next phase of your life, you're going to be handling. So what does that mean in terms of what you can do now and change? I am all about planning, right? The planning is what I live and breathe. Now, it doesn't mean that you only plan certain parts of your life, right? The big change, right, or the big transition that we're all gonna go through, whether it's this independence phase you're facing or the retirement, needs to have a strategy. A plan is really just a strategy. It's an outline. Don't overthink it, because sometimes planning, right, means a scary thing for some people. It is not. It is really saying, laying out everything you've got. And I want to have an emphasis here on the plan as far as how you're going to fund your retirement, where the money is going to come from, what kind of lifestyle you're going to have, what kind of expenses you're going to anticipate, where are you going to be living, right? How long you think you're going to be living. So all of these pieces is what constitutes a plan. I know that it's difficult for somebody who is not financially savvy or has interest in this kind of topic to put it together. But my takeaway for you today is pause, right? Take a breather and start thinking, right? Whether your retirement is 10 years away from now or your Independence Day, or it's next year, start thinking about how are you going to accomplish it? Where are your resources going to come from to pay for your lifestyle, right? How are you going to handle medical expenses? Where are you going to live? and the list goes on and on and on. So start small, right? Start looking at the basic stuff. That's why I want you to keep track of your basic operational expenses, income, and goals, okay? So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is not having a plan for what you actually going to do. And it's common, right? Because retirement, again, and I think it's a generational thing and experience versus, you know, looking at the baby boomer generation where they've had careers, they worked for corporations or federal governments where there was a pension in place, so you had to work somewhere for a long time to establish yourself to earn that pension. But that's gone, right, for the younger generation today. So my generation isn't going to have a whole lot of opportunities to earn a steady income in retirement, right? I'm talking about pensions, Social Security, who knows, by 2037, that's supposed to be out of the window, right? They aren't gonna have 100% of benefits, even though, my friends, right? So we're all still paying into that. So the idea is figure out how those financial pieces fall into play with your actual goals. What do you want to do? Because what the goals and the ideas and where you want to spend your time shouldn't be defined by what you do every day at your work, you know, at your work. Maybe you have a business, and even so, at some point you're going to move on past those things that you've been doing for so long. So what does it look like? And the questions that you should start to think about, right, along the lines with all the financial components is, well, you know, what is my day going to look like? I don't have to wake up early in the morning to go anywhere. Well, what if I do? Do I volunteer my time? What kind of extracurricular activities can I put in my place? Do I have hobbies that I like, that I can, you know, put into play and have some kind of a schedule, right, in my day? So it's defining who you are as a human being, right? Do you want to spend more time with your family? Do you want to spend more time with your grandkids? Do you want to travel more, right? Those are the things that are common amongst all people planning to get to that independent/retirement phase. So what is it for you? Maybe perhaps you want to pursue another career, right? Because now you have all the time in the world that you wanted to do it, or you have all the skills in the world, right? So it's not about the time, it's also having the skills that you've accumulated in your previous career. So start thinking about, who are you going to be, right? And that's the question. What am I going to become once I'm on the other side of this fence? And how is that going to define the daily life, right, that you're going to pursue? Because let's face it, we live longer today, right? So if you start your retirement years and maybe in your early 60s or even late 50s or even so earlier, it could go on for 20, 30, 40 years, just as long as your career before that. So I think it deserves a really, really good thought through plan and strategy. And maybe you don't have anything right now, but start exploring the idea of identifying who you actually are as a human being and what kind of legacy you want to leave behind, right? Not just, you know, as far as your overall inheritance and money goes, but as a human being. So those are the two mistakes I wanted to share with you and kind of get you thinking in terms of, all right, I've got to get my financial house in order, but then I got to get my personal, emotional, right, mental, and maybe perhaps physical house in order to face this next phase in my life. Join me for the webinar on the 31st at 9 o'clock Pacific. I'll share a link in the comments below. But we're going to talk about more technical stuff, the actual financial pieces. I still want you to start, because that's the main jumping point off this, right, phase, is getting your own financial strategy in place. You need to have a roadmap that you're going to travel on so that you can have precisely identified actions of what you're going to be doing. All right? Thanks for tuning in. As far as updates on my end, I'm enjoying the mommy life. It's been an awesome ride so far. Liam is almost he's 4.5 months as of this week. And we just got 2 teeth. He popped, oh my goodness. It's been, the last couple of weeks been rough in terms of him, not feeling so well, and fussiness and drooling and all of that stuff that comes with growing teeth. And so, just 3 days ago, I actually noticed that he had 2 bottom teeth that just popped. And I'm very excited. Was a little shocked because I did not expect teeth for a good 3 months or so. At least that's what I've been told. So, and the other update is that we're started to do the solid food training, so and sleep training. So anyway, there's lots of updates. Stay tuned on that. I share lots of posts in my feed, but I want you to focus on these 2 retirement mistakes, which you can in turn turn into not mistakes, right? But the things that you actually get to accomplish. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want to discuss this further, and I will see you next week for yet another money date. Take care.